well, we're doing another Q&A. I just actually finished filming one 2 seconds ago, so I'll link that down below in case you want to check it out. We talked about anxiety, we talked about fuckboys stringing you along, so you need to watch it. And let's just jump into the questions here. So first one is, I'm an 18-year-old girl and I've never had a boyfriend. I have very few friends, and lately I've been realizing that all of that has to do with my really low self-esteem. I can't speak, I shake, I sweat every time I interact with new people. I hate myself so much I can't put myself out there even though I so desperately want to. Advice. Therapy helps. Also, I think that this is very obvious advice, but you need to start to like yourself. And and I would love to hear from you guys actually in the comments down below. How did you build up your self-confidence or your self-esteem? What are some ways that you learned to love yourself? A couple of things that I really find helpful are journaling, right? Because you're just kind of mind dumping all of your crap onto a piece of paper, and sometimes I journal really mean things about myself, and then you read it back and you're just like, oh my god, like, why do I think this? Like, that's not gonna happen. And it's easier to kind of rationalize things once it's physically on paper versus just that, the voice in your head saying like, you're a failure, you're gonna like fail at everything, right? And then you see it on a piece of paper and you're like, that's just not true. Also, I think treating yourself not as, I guess, a punching bag, but as a best friend, because I really, really believe, and this is something that I've been working on for a very long time, and I mean, the strides that you can make when you start to think of yourself this way, think of yourself as your best friend, because, like I was saying, I really believe that you're the person, regardless of how important friendships and family is, and they are, but you're the person who's going to be there for you 100% of the time. You're the person who's going to be there all the time when things get hard, when things are great, when you're sad. Like, you're your best friend, so you need to treat yourself like that. And if you wouldn't say something to a close friend, you wouldn't say, oh my god, you're so fucking stupid. Don't say that to yourself. That's so, like, I would not say half of the things that I have said to myself in the past to a friend, because they would no longer be my friend. So treat yourself in the same way, because you deserve the same respect, right? And I think that once you start to like yourself, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that the social anxiety is gonna just dissipate, but it's gonna be easier to handle and to deal with and to learn how to interact with people when you don't hate yourself. And I really think therapy is going to be helpful in that way, because you have this unbiased person that you can talk to about how you're struggling, and they can give you some tools that could help. This is a good question. I'm trying to save up for a house in about a year, and I'm wondering what's a decent amount I should have to get a new house. What are your tips on saving for one? So I think it might be all across Canada, if not just in Alberta then, whatever, but you have to have 20% of your down payment, or they look at the interest and like double it or something. So I would say if you can get a 20% down payment, you're solid, right? That's my goal, and I'm very close to hitting that goal, which is so exciting. I've been saving for a house since I was like 14, but I just kind of stopped going to bars so much, and you know, I stopped going out to eat so much, and recently I've really started to prioritize in the last year and a half. So instead of like even just going out for a coffee or a lunch out, you know, that costs $5, like that shit adds up. So instead of going out and doing that, I've learned how to make my favorite coffee from Starbucks at home, and I really make an effort to try and cook myself more meals. So you're not only saving money, you're becoming a better cook, you're becoming better at DIY, you know, and it's not just something that you're going to need while you're saving for a house, it's something that you're going to need when you have the added expense of a mortgage and your bills. So it's good that you're starting to learn this now while you're young, learning how to budget and learning how to save your money. And how to not waste it on frivolous things that you really don't need and also can't afford if you're prioritizing properly, right? And I'm not sitting here saying every young person needs to save for a house, because people have different priorities, and that's totally fine. But you know, my priorities are saving for a house versus going out and getting fucked up every weekend, right? So just prioritizing, I think, is great. Also, talking to your friends and letting people know about your financial goals, because then I don't have friends being like, let's go to the bar, go like get drunk, or go to this really expensive restaurant. You know, I still do those things very rarely, very rarely. But more than that, I have friends come over and we have a couple glasses of wine and watch Netflix, or we just talk, and it's actually been really good for our friendships because instead of going out somewhere and having these distractions like getting really drunk or just focusing on eating or doing these like distracting things, we're talking to each other and bonding more. So it's kind of been good for our friendships, right? Building up your credit score is really important. So here's something that I do. I prepay all of my bills through my credit card, and then on the same day that the money gets taken out of my credit card, I automatically transfer money from my checking to my credit card. So I build up my credit score and then I automatically pay it all off. So I have a fantastic credit score because I've done that for the past, how old am I? I'm 21, for the past 3 years, right? And just don't buy things that you can't afford. Like, it's just so many basic things. And if you guys want a finance video, let me know because I really pride myself on being good with my money. Okay, next question. I'm scared for the transition between high school and college. It should be an exciting time, but I just cry and start panicking when I think about it. I've gotten into a great college, but I'm scared to be away from my family and boyfriend. I've always had a support system. How will I handle it alone? And it's incredibly normal to feel alone for your first, I think it's typically about a month in university. There's been studies on it, there are psychological terms for it. Loneliness is very rampant during your freshman year because it is a transition. And I think it's important to keep in mind that it's a thing for almost everybody. Almost everybody. Even the people that mask it really well and who socialize and you wouldn't expect it. Like, people have trouble adjusting to new situations, right? But you will, and I think that that's also an important thing to keep in mind. So keep in mind, you're not alone, and you will adjust. Okay, and last question. I'm sure you have plenty of videos on body positivity and such, but I'm currently struggling with anorexia for 5 years, and I'm on my way to recovery. Congratulations. What would your advice be to help those who don't have body dysmorphia or eating disorders understand what I'm going through? Ensuring that people understand that it's not just like a I wanted to be skinny, so I just did it and I just kept doing it. Like, it's not something, it gets out of hand very quickly, right? It's not something that you just decided to keep doing for 5 years to put your health at risk, right? It becomes an addiction. It becomes something that's very hard to break out of. So I think that that's something that I would stress. And then also, I would assume that you're in therapy if you're getting out of it, which is great. So even talk to your therapist about some really great ways to discuss this with your friends and how to be open, because I think that it's great that you want to tell people, because having that support system and that group of people who know what you're going through, or at least can, you know, offer some support, not necessarily know what you're going through, but are there when you need to talk to somebody, that's going to be invaluable to your healing process. That's going to be fantastic. So I would even just, you know, open it up to them if they have any questions, and understand that people who don't know much about it might have questions that are kind of offensive to you or seem very obvious, but, you know, open it up in a platform that you're comfortable with and answer whatever you're comfortable with answering. But also make sure that you are in control of the narrative, because I know some questions can be very triggering for some people, so, you know, don't tell anybody that you're not comfortable with telling. I mean, really, the main thing is make it as comfortable for you. And I would really say discuss it with your therapist. Okay, and that is it. My Ask FM box is officially empty, so leave me some questions. I'm also going to be filming some dirty Q&As, so leave some dirty, depraved questions. I also ask for those sometimes on Snapchat, so I will link all of my Ask FM Snapchat, blah blah blah, down below. But that is about it. I also have uploaded, oh my god, it's so great. I uploaded on Patreon this month a video of me reacting to my videos on porn websites, so that was really good. I did a dirty Q&A. I'm going to do a story time about selling pictures of my feet. You're going to want to see that one. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you later. I love you guys. Bye.